Let's go. So this is my first live, so bear with me. Today I wanted to make a video and I wanted to make it live because I'm doing a lot of research when it comes to service businesses. Of course, this is something that I've been talking about for a long time, and I wanted to kind of do some research with you to show you that the people that are going to get involved in service businesses right now, whether you're in the US or in Canada, the opportunity is going to be insane. There's a lot of problems happening and the government is aware of it, and they're actually taking some, positions right now, and they're going to help the youngsters to pretty much get into these service businesses very soon. I think there's already some money that the government are giving for different loans in order for people to start buying businesses. What I'm trying to understand, and what I'm understanding more and more with my research, is that there's going to be a push for people to buy existing businesses more than people to start their own business, because there's a problem happening. The problem is that the business owners, if you go on ChatGPT and ask, hey, what's the range of age for the business owners, you're going to see that it ranges over the age of 55, excuse me. And so that means that these people are slowly going to be retiring, and we're going to have a problem because these businesses are not sexy, right? Like if you talk to any youngster and you tell them, well, you want to start a business, what do you want to do? They're going to tell you the same old things that you see online. You're going to see some drop shipping, you're going to see some crypto stuff, you're going to see some flipping some things online and whatever, when in reality, the wave of millionaires that are going to happen within the next decade are going to be people that really focus on these boring businesses. And these businesses are literally around your house. Like if you take your car and you drive around and you see those local businesses, service businesses, you're going to notice, if you speak with the owner, that they're older folks. And so they don't have a legacy. This is a problem. There's a lot of articles written on that, which I'm going to show you a couple of them, because we're going to try to understand. The first thing that I wanted to mention when it comes to these service businesses is the age. And I'm not going to do some ageism here. I'm literally just trying to get as much information as possible. So if we look at, for example, Canada, right? The population is growing older. We are in a crisis in a way, because there's going to be more people. Listen to this, right? There's going to be more people over the age of 65 than under the age of 18 within 2030. And so that gives us an idea, whether it has to do with professional career positions, or with businesses, that's what I'm focusing on. There's going to be a hard time for companies to replace these people. And that's called an opportunity. So I want to share this information because I want people, especially young people, to really take a look at this stuff. And I'm going to mention a lot of things. We're going to stay on together. This is live. I'm not editing anything, because the number one thing that people tell me is well, I don't have the money to buy an existing business. And there are ways for you to acquire a business that is existing right now without any funds up front. There's also other ways for you to start a business within that industry to save up some money in order for you to get there at some point. And I'm going to show you everything that I know. My name is Munir, and I've been in the service business industries for the past 11 years now. And I'm getting more and more focused on opening small mom and pop shops and really understanding what is needed in these industries. I'm in the dry cleaning, laundry, anything cleaning industry at this point, but I'm slowly dabbling in other things, and I'm starting to think that perhaps I should be opening my own small private equity firm and opening these businesses, which I'm going to talk about again. So let's just focus on the first point here, the age. So if we look at the numbers of persons age 65 and older on July 1st, it's 8 million. This is for Canada. Now, of course, this information is for Canada, but believe me, it's the same thing in the United States of America. They also have a huge gap. So that's because the baby boomers are getting older, and we are seeing people going into retirements or trying to leave, but they just don't have any people to replace them. So that's the number one. You can go and check out, if you live in the US, if you go on census and check out the ages of people and how many people are gonna be older the age of 65. You're gonna be baffled, and that just means opportunity for us. Now, if we go into the this article that I really liked, which is from Entrepreneur, baby boomer businesses are up for grabs. Here's how entrepreneurs can benefit in 2025. So let's just read quickly here. With 12 million baby boomer owned businesses up for grabs in 2025, the silver tsunami, that's how they're calling it, I've seen this term in other articles as well, is redefining opportunities. Like I said, it is an opportunity. Here's how entrepreneurs can capitalize on this generational shift. So they're just here, talking about the conventional way to do business as baby boomers got into businesses, and how it's getting tighter and tighter, and people want to exit. There's not enough people to take on their business, and so we're gonna have a problem. The demographic reality is 41% of all US businesses are owned by baby boomers. This is insane. Like, this right here, this is the opportunity right here for you. With 34 million small to mid-sized businesses in the US, which is, and no matter what industry you're in, you're going to find something for you. 12 million small to mid. Okay, so this right here is what I wanted to talk about, because we're going to be getting into economics to understand this principle. It's supply and demand. At the end of the day, if you go to any websites where you can buy businesses, whether you're in the US or in Canada, you're going to notice that the list of businesses for sale is just ballooning every single month, if that's a word. The pages are getting like deeper and deeper. So what I do, and I have a thing that I've been doing for the past, I would say 3 years, is once a month, I'm just going to go through the pages of the businesses for sale and see what's good, what's not. And then it really hit me this year, especially February 2025. I saw a huge spike of these businesses. And for fun, sometimes I just go and sign NDAs and to check their numbers and to check different industries. And I always land on the same entrepreneur, which is the old entrepreneur that's like over the age of 60, that wants to leave, wants to exit with some money. And they're starting to understand that it might not be the case for them, which is really sad, because they've worked 20, 30 years on their business, and now they can't leave with any money because supply and demand. There's not enough people looking into it, because it's more exciting to be a founder and to start your own business, in my opinion. And especially as young people, they just want a nice, cool business. Like, this is just not sexy to be an electrician, to be a plumber, to own a Windows company. It's really, really not exciting at all. But the opportunity there is just insane, because things that they don't know. You know things that they don't know that's online related. Like, it literally, there's these business owners, they don't have the skills and the things that when it comes to advertising and marketing and branding and anything online. But you do, because you landed on this channel. That means you're targeted with all of these things, and you understand that business needs to be online. And so there's a huge potential here. There's in this article right here, you can see that somebody's talking, in my decades of experience in facilitating M&A deals, I've noticed this intriguing shift in deal structures. Baby boomers are prioritizing, legacy over lump sum, often showing more interest in finding a worthy steward for their life's work, pretty much, and squeezing in every dollar. So instead of wishing that they're going to have the sales that they want well, they're willing to do a seller's financing, which is exactly what I was going to talk to you about. 60% of boomers are actually down to do that. And what is the seller's financing is what I suggest to people that I talk to, especially youngsters, is go around your neighborhood, see what you're interested in. For example, if windows is something that you're interested in, so, selling windows, installing windows, then check out who is the leader in your neighborhood. See if they're willing to teach you as much as possible, work for them for free just to learn, and then try to set up a seller's financing option, which is you're going to pay them per month. They know that they're generating X amount of money, but with your skills of marketing, of branding and all that, you are confident to bring this much to the table. And so you work into the company and you generate some money in order for you to pay the old owner back. You're still the owner, like you're the owner. There's going to be a contract there. You're going to have X amount of year, maybe it's 3 years, 4 years for you to pay them back. But you are confident enough that you can go ahead and use those strategies wisely for you to generate even more income and therefore pay them way faster. The point is not to take any loans. The risk is very small. It's a beautiful thing, the seller's financial option, but you got to be sure about it. You got to be sure about the market. You got to be sure about what you're doing. And the person has to trust you, which is, I think, one of the greatest problems that we can have with that. You just got to learn how to sell yourself, sell what you can bring to the table. I wanted to bring another article that I saw here. It's on medium.com, The Untold Wealth Strategy. This one was pretty good if you want to check it out as well, because they're talking about the different types of sellers financing. So either you get regular loan, you can rent to own. This is another thing that I see more and more nowadays. I know somebody that just did that recently. Rent to own is literally you are taking over the operation and you're paying a rent until you get to a certain level. It's kind of the same principle as the seller's financing option, but in this way, the person is still the owner. You're not the owner until you're able to pay it off completely. I think that's a great thing. If the person is not in a rush, they trust their business, they know that it could generate some money, and they trust you to bring more income. That could be an option as well. In this article, which I didn't read completely, to be honest with you, I think it's great to see the different options in financing. I wanted to see this one as well, the economic state for getting business succession right. This is for CIBC. Pretty much the bank is talking about the Canadian economy and how it's rooted in entrepreneurship. And right now there's a huge problem because they know that there's going to be way too many people want to exit at the same time and not enough people to take on these businesses. At the end of the day, this opportunity is insane because within the next 10 years, you're going to see some businesses offering you some crazy deals for you to buy their existing business and for you not to have to dash out the money up front. It's, in my opinion, one of the greatest opportunity for youngsters because you can come up and, have a business without even coming out with the money up front. There's so many options at this point. The small businesses, they employ around like 70% of the private sector. And, it's the backbone of the economy, whether it's in the US or in Canada. And so the government will help you to buy an existing business very soon. You got to keep your eye on this. This is why I'm talking about this for the past 3 years. And I've been doing this myself. Just recently, I'm in talks right now to buy a distribution company that has to do with my industry. And the lady is willing to do a in-house financing. And the way we're going to do it, we're not 100% sure. There's two different ways. Either I'm going to do the seller's financing option, or I'm going to do the rent to buy, rent to own. Pretty much she's going to be the owner. I'm going to operate her business. I know that I can bring her revenue to at least double using the strategies that you and I know about, which is the online marketing and online advertisement and branding. And then I'm just gonna pay her off slowly, slowly until we get to a number. Then I'm gonna own the business, and she's gonna go and retire. That's something that we're planning to do. In this article, it also says that there's a growing concern that about 9% of Canadian businesses have formalized succession plan in place. So out of all the businesses that are currently active in Canada, there's only 9% of Canadian businesses that actually have a succession plan. The rest, they're just winging it, man. They're just waiting to see what's going to happen. Nearly 80% of owners would prefer traditionally transitioning, to a family member. Here's the problem with the family member thing, and that's the thing that a lot of people tell me when I talk about this is, well, why not their kids? Why aren't they taking over? Do you know how many business owners told me straight to my face that their kids don't want to know anything about the business? And the reason is very simple, in my opinion. It's because it's not sexy. It's hard. They saw their parents really break their backs. But at the end of the day, the way that our parents used to handle business is not the way that we handle business. Like, they used to be the operators of their business, when we understand that we need to operate our business. We need to brand it. We need to be online. We need to put the right people in place. We need to delegate as much as possible in order for us to scale our businesses year over year. They used to just open the door, wait for customers to come. But, that boat, it sailed a long time ago. And here's another proof here from the CFIB, Succession Tsunami, Preparing for a Decade of Small Business Transitions in Canada. This right here, it's a PDF. I'm not going to read it all, but the point is, it's a great overview of what's happening and what's about to happen in Canada. Everything that I've been talking to you about. MNP, so this is l'expert.ca. MNP report reveals succession plan gap poses risks to Canadian businesses and jobs. And like I said, the backbone of the economy in Canada and the US are small businesses. And so they're realizing that there's a huge problem. Nearly 2/3 of Canadian entrepreneurs lack formal succession plans, threatening business continuity, job security, and economic stability. So this is insane. It employs 7.8 million people in the private sector. We already saw that. And so the potential for business closures is already evident. According to Statistic Canada, the business closure rate increased to 4.8% in October 2024, surpassing the historical average of 4.6%. Like, at this point, people are literally just shutting down their business. They're just closing their business because they can't find someone to take it over, to buy it from them, which is really sad. Like, honestly, it's really sad. And I feel like this is a mission of mine nowadays to talk about this, because at the end of the day, if the youngsters don't get involved and don't get into it and don't buy these businesses, then two things are going to happen. It's going to destabilize absolutely the economy. And second of all, it might bring people to actually, have the government save them. And that's a problem that we're all going to have. We're all going to face it together. So either we're going to identify this problem and, get into it right now and actually try to be part of the solution, or we're just going to wait for things to crumble. It's inevitable. This is unfortunate. The last document I had here is from the NMP.ca, the unexpected impacts on your business and its scale as Canada population continues to grow older. So understanding Canada's aging population, we already talked about this, the workforce impact, business ownership. So over $2 trillion worth of business assets that could change hands during the 10-year period. $2 trillion. Now, what I see happening in the US, which in my opinion is a problem, private equity firms have realized this problem and they're already facing it. Well, because they have so much money, all they have to do really is to dash out some money, to create franchises, to brand it, to market it, and to throw it out there. The problem with that is everything becomes cookie cutter, McDonald's style. There's no more sweet mom and pop shops, of people just working there and knowing your local community and all that. It just becomes a corporate nightmare, in my opinion. But at the same time, this is something that I'm looking into. I'm not going to lie to you. There's a lot of money to be made in here. I'll just give you an example. If I ask you to name me a window cleaner in your local area, could you? I don't think you can, because they don't brand it. It doesn't stick to your head. When you and I, if we buy a business, we're going to try to have the colorways, the logo, the t-shirts, the online presence and all that. And I think youngsters should do that, and not these private equity firms with billions of dollars on hand. It's a little sad, but at the same time, if they can save the economy by purchasing these existing businesses that no one wants, and so be it. But in my opinion, I'm taking it to heart, and I'm really trying to push people as much as possible to get into it. Let's just finish that here. According to CFIB report mentioned above, 75% of business owners will leave for retirement. Around 22% will leave due to stress, and about 21% will take a step back from their responsibilities as owners. Just under half of business owners, 49%, plan to exit their business by selling. Who's going to buy them, Nearly one quarter will sell to a family member, slightly less, 23%, plan to sell to employees. The majority of respondents, 54%, said finding a suitable buyer is the biggest obstacle to succession planning, followed closely by business evaluation. Yeah, this is the other thing, right? Is that as much as they can sell that business, they will never sell for what they want. They're going to have to go pennies on the dollar. That's what's happening. I can see it clearly. It's happening in my industry. People are just selling for whatever because they need to leave. They got older and they just want out of the industry. And so they can't leave with the money that they worked really hard to get, unfortunately. So this is pretty much a great way for us to understand that there's opportunities here. If you're young, please don't sleep on that, because the people that understand this will make the new multimillionaires, in my opinion.